This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of the NFC East show, and we are on episode 80. And
Wow.
what a crazy week
Oh,
in the
crazy indeed.
NFL. In the NFL, it started out crazy. It's probably something crazy is going to happen tonight. I tell you, it was. First off, I mean, let's start right on Saturday night because there's a lot to talk about this week. But starting on Saturday afternoon.
Minnesota.
What did you think of that game? What did you think of it?
I don't know, man. Looking at what the head coach was calling, look at the plays that were put in, look at how everyone surrounded Minnesota and got them pumped up. I think it was something spectacular. But on the betting side, it was ridiculous. And I say that in part and reason is because the amount of betting, the betting culture, the gambling culture in this that's now in the NFL is here to stay. And right. I believe I was reading the other day that the NFL is now considered entertainment. And what goes along with entertainment?
Yeah, but let's be for real on that. I can hear you. I can hear what you're saying about that, but I don't believe that. You know what I mean? I think that it's.
I don't want to believe it, but it's with the culture that's surrounding itself is something else. With the players themselves, I mean, it started with the kid in Atlanta.
Right. Well, and I hear you, but I mean, I can't believe. Well, think about all of the moving parts I would have to go into scripting all of what happened this week. Of what happened this week. I mean, I'll be honest. I felt that game sucked. That game sucked. I mean, to see some team get up that high, and then and then you knew they were going to come back and win the game. You knew that they were. It was so ridiculous. When he didn't go for it on 4th and 1 and he kicked the field goal, I'm like, yeah, this is, he did that purposely. He did that purposely because he didn't want to put it 7 scores out or 6 scores out.
Yep. I know.
Because they were moving the ball. And like I said, it was like inches. He would have just been able to fall down on the ground and make the first down.
Yep.
They could have picked the ball up. The referee could pick the ball up and put it back down and came out for a measurement and probably made it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, what was crazy, I remember because we were out shopping for my son's birthday, and I just remember hearing the guy just yell out, "Oh, there's another score!" And I looked over and I said, "What's the score?" And the guy said 30 some odd to zip. And I was like, "Whoa!" So next thing you know, we're shopping, and we go get his birthday lunch, and lo and behold, I look up at the screen and I see a tie game, and I'm like, what's going
Yeah.
on here?"
Like I said, it was way ridiculous. Way ridiculous. I don't understand why. Like, first off, it wasn't very good football
No,
in
from
general.
what I saw, it
Bad
wasn't.
decisions all the way around. It was just hard. It was horrible football. It was horrible football. And like I was kind of getting excited, but you knew it was fool's gold.
Yeah,
Like I interestingly enough, all weekend long, I was meeting. I met DraftKings this weekend. I met Bet Rivers. I don't gamble. I don't gamble. But I tell you, I feel like had I had the opportunity to bet, I would have taken the Vikings to win the game outright. You could have probably had a plus 2,500, plus 5,000.
I saw at the halftime somebody you put $100 down on Minnesota at the halftime, you could have walked away with 9K.
That's a plus nine. Yeah, that's it. So it was a plus 9,000. But that's what I'm saying. It was almost tempting you to do it, and I don't even gamble. And I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to hit. I
Yeah,
thought there's no way that the Vikings lose this game now. When they went
yeah,
into halftime like that, I thought there was no way that they're going to
yeah,
lose this game.
yeah.
And
It was a fun Saturday.
yeah, and then of course the Browns Ravens game, that was a snooze fest. I mean, it's like I didn't, it was exactly as advertised. You have a quarterback that just started playing. He's still in his preseason phase against no quarterback.
Yeah, backup. What's his name?
Yeah, I
Not
couldn't even.
Jacoby. Not Jacoby Brissett.
Uh, but Justin Tucker did kick a field goal, which
Yep, I saw that.
gives him the record. Huntley,
Yeah, there you go. Brian, yeah.
whatever his name is. So, but I mean, again, that was bad football. Then you saw the Dolphins and Bills. And that was actually a good game.
Yes, it was a good game.
That was a really good game. I it's a shame that it came down to that there weren't many flags at all during the game, and it came down to a penalty that actually gave the win to
Yep,
Buffalo.
yep.
You know, because I really felt like I like most of the games that I paid attention to, there weren't many penalties unless you did something really stupid like go off sides. You know, there wasn't the ticky tack calls like they. I think with the refs in the Chicago Eagles game,
Yeah.
just the flags were stuck in their pockets. So they were letting a good amount go. And then you have even what happened last night in the Washington Giants game. They were like, the yellow flags were stitched in the pockets. I guess they just weren't coming out.
Well, yeah, and there was one play that really not the hold, but again, the line judge when the wide receiver goes to check in with him. He points once, referee gives him the nod. He points again at the referee. Referee says nothing. Ball snapped. Penalty comes out, and it's like right on the wide receiver that was asking you to check him in to make sure he was on the line. You said he was good the first time, but the problem was I did see that the wide receiver didn't look over the second time when he picked up his arm again. But regardless, he never moved. He set himself after he checked in the first time. But it happened with the Cowboys earlier this year. So these line judges with the offsides and checking in and everything else, there's so many defensive players offsides to begin with. You can see it right down the line with their helmets offside, but yet none of
Right.
that's called. So
Right. They actually do call it when, I mean, I know that they called it when the Eagles were going in, and it was like on the, 1 foot line.
yeah,
And, because the Eagles are like 97%, 98% on the quarterback sneak because of the way that it's going. Somebody told me yesterday that they think that they're going to make that go away, that they're not going to allow that formation.
the QB sneak.
The QB sneak formation, the Eagles
Yeah,
QB sneak formation. They're not going to allow that coming up. But not everybody can do the same thing. We're
Well,
pretty
yeah,
good at it,
yeah,
but nobody else
and
is good at it.
I think part and parcel is because of the safety that they have to look at protecting the quarterback. Because how are you going to protect the quarterback in the pocket, but then allow him to go head first? So it's kind of a win-lose situation for the defense.
Right.
So
I,
or a
but
lose-win,
I
I should say.
yeah. So, but I thought pretty good about this. Like I knew we were going to make it and what have you. But thinking about the penalties or the lack of penalties or whatever, or weird calls.
Yeah.
What that fourth and they did a quarterback sneak in the Colts game that he made by a yard and a half, but somehow Minnesota wound up with the ball.
Yep.
How did you see that play?
I didn't see the specifics, but again, it comes down to who? The line judge. Those
Yeah, and
line.
I tell you, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous in terms of I can't believe like how he had it by a yard and a half, and I
Yep.
guess that stop the forward motion. How
Yep.
how how
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Such a crock of yeah, a
Well, see
bunch of it. It was a bunch of it.
that's the thing is we're living in a place where we have the technology. We can RFID the ball, track the ball on both ends. The line judges, these guys are so big when there's that pile, you can't see anything. I mean, you can't definitively see anything with the ends. So I think the technology needs to come in. I think they need to step up. I mean, you look at what the league is spending and the teams are spending in upgrades. I don't know if you read that lately. All the teams that are upgrading their stadiums, which got approval. I mean, why couldn't that be one? I
Right.
know it's a
Well,
little bit more, but
listen, I think it's only a matter of time before it actually does happen.
well, you
So
look at it. You look at the players; they're tracked. That's how they have the speeds. They can tell the speeds. They can tell the distance that they're running. They can tell everything because they're chipped. So
right, but
in
they're
the
not going to chip
equipment.
the ball. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
so so that actually lends more to the credence that this is scheduled. It is scripted. I mean, because they're not able to do certain things then if that was the case.
Yeah, exactly.
All
And
right, but
that's yeah. It just I don't know, man.
and
This
then just like so, and I mean, it started from there. It started there at Wackadoo, and then it just continued into yesterday. I guess just
yeah.
the play was really at Wackadoo. So, but
Everything was.
yeah. So let me ask you. Hey, listen, for everybody who's on TikTok, feel free to join us on my YouTube channel. The link is in my bio. So let's hear what you got to say. I got True Blue about to talk to us about the Cowboys game.
Come on,
What
come
is
on,
your
come on.
thoughts? What is your
Well,
thoughts?
again, the blame is going to shift to the coaching. The coaching staff has yet let the Dallas Cowboys down. I saw the speech that Mike McCarthy gave with the the long ball that he gave up. Instead of using up the clock and making them use a timeout, he goes distance. He throws the ball. It's an incomplete pass. We give the ball right back. They have that one timeout. But again, it's a situation of the offensive play calling that is just not in tune with the quarterback. You got an offensive coordinator who wants to throw the ball over and over and over with a quarterback who's limited to 25 to 30 passes a game, who should be limited, I should say. The run game is strong with us, but our coordinator just gets away from it, and it makes no sense. The wide receivers, I mean, they did their job. The secondary, again, our Wilson, who got burned again. Our left corner has been weak this whole season. After Brown went out, we got a replacement. He just got burned. Now we've got another replacement. It's the same old for the cornerbacks. But, yeah, the overall situation with the head coaching and the way that they play called going into the, fourth quarter, going into overtime was just, we got the ball back with a minute and a half, and we couldn't finish it. That told me a lot about, not just where my team's at, but where my coaching staff's at. And in a minute and a half, you can't get a first down to close out this game. It's, the passing again. That's the part that just upsets me the most is as an offensive coordinator, you have to look at the situation at hand. Of course, do I trust my quarterback? Of course I do. But the thing is, I want him to be relaxed in that pocket, and I want him to get, where we need to be. He's already committed to 20-plus passes. Let's run the damn ball. And that just didn't happen with us. And with that turnover with a minute and a half, it just made, or going deep, stopping the clock with a minute and a half just didn't make any sense. It did not make any sense. It was just
not only that, but before he threw the pick six, run for 12 yards, run for 6 yards, run for 6 yards, pass, pick six.
Yeah.
Opposite in the next direction.
Yep. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And it wasn't Dak's fault. He threw it right where it needed to be on Brown. It just went off of Brown's pads in the front of him and went up in the air. Had he caught it with his hands, we would have been all right. But no, it wasn't Dak Prescott's fault. I know what everyone's going to say. Oh, it's Dak's fault. No, go back and look at the ball. Look at the ball where it hit. Then you come back and talk to me.
Oh, yeah, he hit him in the hand, and then it bounced off. He didn't catch it, and then it bounced off and went in the. And I'll address that. I will absolutely address that here in just a few minutes. I want to finish talking about the Cowboys first, because, realistically, what was going on in that game? Obviously, it was going on at the same time as the Eagles-Bears game. So I'm looking, and it's 27-10, and then it's 27-24, and then I see it's okay. Then it's 33, I guess, is what it is, and
31,
or 30, 31, 34,
yep.
and and they're still down, but they catch up pretty fast. What was going on? I didn't even watch any of the replays.
So they scored 2 touchdowns within 2.5 minutes. Jacksonville did. So our defense, again, on the long ball got burned twice. That cornerback is out of here. But overall, it was 3 touchdowns in 9 minutes. And, our offense going 3 and out wasn't helping our defense. And it just goes to the same situation where we're running the ball well. We're driving the ball well, but then all of a sudden the coordinator says we need to throw the ball. It just doesn't make sense in some of the situations that he wants to do it. And there's nothing we can do about it as fans. We just have to go along, but somebody needs to do something.
Well,
what I don't want to hear from the media is this guru that we have as a young coordinator on our side. Because I'm going to tell you, Eric Bieniemy, I know he wouldn't allow that to happen. I can tell you that for straight up. The way he coaches the Chiefs is different than, it just depends on who your quarterback is. You can't be throwing the ball that much. Not for us, at least.
Well, and I tell you, you have a pretty decent running game. I know that your offensive line's a little bit banged up, but it's still pretty formidable.
Oh, yeah.
And you got running backs that can actually run the ball. Keep passing, though. That's a McCarthy thing. Let's do it. You know how much I love you guys having McCarthy.
Well, I don't know. And that's the part that disturbs me is I don't know if it's McCarthy or if it's Kellen Moore. That's the part that disturbs me.
Well, I think it probably it's got. Well, see, ultimately, that's how McCarthy saves his job for one more year. Kellen Moore's a scapegoat.
Well, he should have been the scapegoat early in the season.
Right, and he should. There we go, and that's Ed saying that you guys were getting turnovers but not capitalize on them. And I got to imagine here that this is where Doug Peterson had a leg up on. Playing with Jacksonville, but just knowing Dallas and knowing that coach well enough. These guys coached together at one point, and then like I said, so he knew some of the styles and some of the trends that he was doing.
Well, what I want Cowboy fans to go back and look at, I want them to go back to one specific setup that the Cowboys used over and over and over. We had a group of a bunch of trips. We had 3 guys set up all the time on the right hand side for 10, 15 plays. Same formation. Trips, strong right, bunched up together. And it was just like, wait, well, you got an offensive guru on the other side of the yard over there, and you're gonna run the same formation over and over. Oh, well, you're running different routes. You're doing that. No, you're running the same formation. You can only do so much with that formation. Run it once and be done with. Run it twice, okay, maybe, if you're going to execute. But you know what? Again, I'm just a fan. I have no say-so what goes on that field.
And hey, talking about gambling. Sorry, Cody. 14 out of 15 is still not a winner. Yep, there you go. And that's exactly Chip Kellyology. So I tell you, I, for one, was excited to see everybody react. As it always takes, us an hour to leave the stadium, and people are coming up to me, and they, like, we weren't watching, but we were like, people were checking on their scores on the score app and just keep refreshing. And next thing you know, it was like, oh, they're driving on them. And then like, hold on, Jacksonville just won.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of.
Well, when you score when you have two scores in 2 minutes, it says a lot.
Yep.
I mean, you had a 50-yard pass that just went into the end zone. And again, it was neither here or there with our cornerback, but hey, there's nothing I can do about it.
Nope. Yeah, we're not on the field. We are
That's
not
right.
on the field.
We're on the sideline.
So, and the Eagles game, I was wondering why they weren't running the ball. And, this game was won by literally a couple of mistakes that the Eagles were able to capitalize on. The one touchdown that Jalen Hurts got, the 30-yard touchdown, where it looked like literally everybody parted the seas to get, he literally walked. He was just like, trot, touchdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody was within 10 yards of him.
Oh, I saw
and that was
yeah.
because the safety came in,
out.
and that's literally, there was nobody left covered. So everybody was over on the sides.
Yep.
He literally noticed it right away too. Didn't even take a second thought. He's like, I'm going.
Yeah, nobody's in the middle of the field.
Interestingly enough, they did the same thing again. They saw it again, and they actually converged on him. It was only a 6-yard game the second time around because they actually tried to still, they tried to sneak it on him, like, oh, he'll see the same thing again. Still wound up getting 6 yards out of it. But ultimately, the reason why the running game wasn't so great yesterday for the Eagles was because Sanders, who does not like playing in the Colts, and as an ex-player was talking, I was talking to him today, this morning, that he was tipping. And what that means is he was tiptoeing, and he did, he was trying to, and he was going left to right. So I was talking to a camera guy, and something that happened that I didn't see and didn't get shown on TV. But what had happened was, so he was supposed to hit something inside. Sanders was supposed to hit something inside, and he did not go inside. He took it outside. Wound up being a pretty decent game, but even then, Nick Sirianni was yelling at him, because he was on the Eagles sideline.
Yeah.
He went to go back into the huddle. Nick says, you come over here. So he went, and then Sanders went to the other side of the bench. Well, Nick followed him all the way to the other side of the bench.
Hey, I was talking to you.
And got up in him. And then he didn't come back in the game then for just about a full quarter. And the first time he got back in the game, he fumbled. So
Wow.
that was that one pass like that. He fumbled the ball. So he didn't want to touch Sorry, I got somebody yelling right
Oh,
next
you're
to me.
fine.
So, as always, we're at Dolan's Bar, just in case you were unsure. You were in my living room. But that's why they didn't run the ball.
Yeah.
That's why they did not run the ball at all.
Well,
And
it tells you a lot about the running back if he's going to be yelled at like that and come back in and fumble a football. It's like you're not hurting yourself, or you're hurting your head coach. You're hurting your team. So if he wants to do that again against us, go for it. But it's indoors.
yeah, it's going to be a lot different for Saturday's game. So, I mean, obviously, Hurts may not play. That it was, he's got a bruised, like a bruised.
A contusion.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a contusion, a sprained shoulder
Oof.
or something like that
Yeah.
on his right side. Saw the play happen. I was surprised that he stayed in after that, but they drove him down and then they scored that touchdown. But he wound up doing a running play, and he got leveled on the play, and you could tell right away, oh, he's down. You know what I mean? And he got himself back up and was able to kind of do what he needed to do and finish the drive out. But ultimately,
Yeah. Yeah. We had several injuries as well, and Peters was one of them.
that's not what I've heard, Ed. That's absolutely not what I've heard. So they may hold him out till the end of the season, but that's not what I heard at all.
Yeah, we had Peters who went out with a leg injury. We had Van Der Esch who went out with, after reading the day when it was first said he went out with a neck injury, and of course he has a history of neck injuries, but that wasn't the case either. Apparently he had a stinger on the shoulder, near the neck, but he's going to be he should be okay. After the MRI confirmed, but it was just a stinger that he got. So Tyron Smith, I'm glad that he was back in the lineup. He was just rotating with Peters, but he went back in after Peters got that injury. So we're towards the end of the season. And there's going to be a lot more injuries. I'm
Well,
afraid
and
of.
Peters was injured now because he realized he can't play anymore.
Oh, he was playing really good that day, yesterday.
Of course, for a few minutes. Then he started to get the holding calls. Once he starts to get the holding calls, or he's playing pretty good. Because he's actually trying to act agile on his feet.
No, he no penalties. He was doing what he was doing.
Yeah, see it. They would know better than me, but and they may be doing that because we have to just win one game, and it's going to be, why risk him? Because I didn't think he would play this weekend. I didn't think he would play this Saturday. It's not as important now to beat you guys. You guys took care
No.
of that for us.
Yep.
And I'm all right with that. I am absolutely okay with that. You know what I mean? That you guys screwed the pooch, as they say.
That's it.
And
not
then
just
on top of that, let's go. Oh, I have a Cowboys fan next to me right here, so he's and how they're going to have to do that. And how about this? That the ties are wins in the NFC East.
Yep.
That is how they are both still in here, because they have
They don't have that loss.
right, and that's what it comes down to right now. Although Detroit is making a real run,
Yes,
and
they
I
are.
think that the fact that the Giants absolutely needed to win that game more than the Washington Commanders did. However, the Commanders should have won the game. I thought that it
now
was
Detroit's in the hunt they're only half a game back, aren't they?
correct.
Yeah.
And they didn't play a great game either. They almost let the Jets get the better of them.
Yeah, and Zach Wilson was coming back, so it's going to be interesting to see how that rolls down towards the end of the season. If Detroit keeps playing the way they're playing, yeah, the New York Giants might want to watch out because they're coming after them.
Well, like I said, and right now Washington's the next on the list, so it's then Washington can get out of there. Who did they beat any of the teams? Did
Who's that?
Detroit win any in NFC East? Did they lose to all four of us?
I believe so.
Right?
I know we won. I know you guys won. Maybe
I'm
they
checking
haven't.
right now to see.
Maybe they haven't played. Maybe they haven't played one more team.
Yeah, because it could be that they have to play Washington or something like that. But
Yeah.
no. So they beat the Giants.
Yep.
That's why it was more important, because they lost to you guys, they lost to us, and they beat the Commanders. So the
Yeah.
Lions actually have the tiebreaker on both of those teams.
Yep.
Did they wind up playing Seattle? I guess they didn't play Seattle, because they would have played um, whoever it was in the probably Arizona or whoever was fourth place.
Yep. Well,
But
I know. You know, this is the second. We had to play the NFC North straight. The only break in between the AFC South is you guys in the middle of this Saturday, but we've got Tennessee on a Thursday night game. So I don't know who set the schedule or which algorithm they picked, but it needs to be those types of games and schedules need to be checked. We shouldn't be playing a conference straight. We shouldn't have to be playing, the AFC South, all four teams in 4 weeks and such. It's just it doesn't make any sense. It takes
right,
the
well,
interest
and
out of it.
I I hear you, but if you remember last year, we all had to play each other in the last 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
In fact, we had 5 weeks in a row
Yep.
that we played you guys in week 2, and then 5 weeks in a row we had
Divisional.
the NFC East. So,
Yep.
because the Lions, I think they end straight with the NFC. No, they have the Panthers next week.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. I mean, when we're playing divisional games, that's fine. But when we're playing, uh, the NFC North 4 straight games, it's just like, what? Why are we doing that?
so it, anyways, I'm hearing the guy over here, and I keep cringing
I got
every time he curses out loud. Can you keep the cursing down a little bit there, buddy? It's a family bar. Exactly. So, but anyways, nah. Truth of the matter is that it's going to be a very interesting last 3 weeks, because really the Lions got the Packers and the Vikings still to go, so they
Yep.
got a real tough schedule. They could win 2 out of the next 3, but I don't think they're going to win out, which means that Washington and the Giants both have an opportunity. I think Washington has the easier of the two schedules moving forward. The Giants, I know they have to end with us, which I think is going to wind up being a not necessary game for us. I'm looking at who they have left. The Giants. We're starting with the Giants first, since they are holding the 6th seed at the moment. Vikings, Colts, and Eagles. So they got a tough one here as well. Although the Vikings, I guess they want to keep the 2 seed, but that could be a preview of that playoff game.
Yeah.
So, and it's at Minnesota. And in Washington's case, they have Niners, Browns, and then you guys.
Yep. Yeah. And that game is still to be determined as of right now.
I have Sunday at 1. Sunday the 8th at 1 o'clock is what I have on my schedule here, not as a
Yeah.
TBD. So I can't say that that's going to be where it's at, but because I figure they will flex these games to a 4 and an 8 o'clock game anyways that day, not caring what the Eagles are doing, what the Eagles have already clinched, more that if everybody else from the NFC East can clinch.
Yeah. It'd be pretty
Well,
cool. For a division at the beginning of the season was supposed to be the worst.
and we're the best, even beating each other up. We're still the best
Yep.
by like 3 or 4 wins
Yep.
to every other division. That now I got to talk about the Raiders Patriots game.
Oh, geez.
You want to talk about a play that could literally, like a dumb play that could kick them out of the playoffs. They could literally kick them out of the playoffs on that stupid play.
Yep. And I heard the wide receiver come out, or the guy who threw the ball back. I don't know what I was thinking. It was just one of those deals, and it's just like, mm, you know, as a coach, you have to sit there and say, did I not get these guys to where they need to be? Because when time runs out, time runs out. That's it. You take the ball and you go into overtime. It's that simple. That's the
Yeah,
part I didn't understand.
and I tell you, they just showed it again on come on man, on the come on man. When that Raider caught the ball and he stiff armed
Oh,
Mac, I was hysterical. I laughed out loud when I saw that the first time. Everybody was talking about it at the bar, at the hotel last night in Chicago.
yeah.
When I saw that play, I literally was hysterical. I'm like, I think people were looking at me kind of funny because I just found that hysterical. It
Oh, dude.
hysterical to me. And
It,
like,
it,
first
it
off,
was it
like,
was
what are you doing to throw it back to the quarterback anyways? What is he going to? He can't throw another pass. You know what I mean? That was so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel bad for Mac Jones being put in that situation. Now he's postered for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that is definitely posted. Yeah, and it was a mess too. It's just like smash. Yeah,
Oh,
and everybody in Raiders Nation was, you know, like redemption.
yeah.
I don't know that that's quite redemption, but
I don't think it is, but I get what you're saying.
it was
It's
it was so
yeah.
ridiculous. Though that was so ridiculous. I mean, how do you even if you are, how does Belichick respond to that?
Well, that's especially losing to Josh, his protege in that form and fashion. And that's the second time that he's beaten Belichick. The first was with the Broncos. So I mean, it says more about Belichick and his coaching staff than it does about the Raiders in a whole. I just can't believe that they did that. I can't believe
Yeah.
that one player took it upon himself to put his team in that position.
So
So
you're saying Seattle did beat Detroit this year? Seattle holds a tiebreaker between the two of them? Yeah.
yep, they beat them in Detroit and Seattle.
Okay. I didn't realize that was the other team, obviously, that's holding any of the cards here. But I wasn't sure if they had played each other or not.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, hearing these guys on sports radio and sports TV and everything, I know the NFC West, but the San Francisco 49ers quarterback, he's already been graced by the whole media as the next Tom Brady. And it goes to show you the lack of knowledge that they have in football. It's okay, 2 games. Okay. Who has he played? Oh, okay. Oh, he's a first rookie to ever beat Tom Brady at age 45. Okay. Okay. We'll see.
hold on, a Tom Brady who just got divorced and lost all of his money in FTX. Yeah, like
Allegedly.
he's got a new girlfriend and has a new girlfriend. So
Oh,
let's
geez.
be for real. Let's be for real on who you're playing against right now. You're playing against a middle-aged guy who's got a lot of stuff on his plate right now.
Yeah. Too bad it's not us.
Never a dull moment. Yeah, I tell you,
Never a
I
dull
came
moment.
in here. There was nobody in the bar, so that's why I decided to do this podcast here today. And I gotta make sure I gotta censor half of what I'm hearing over here. So,
Nothing matter with
but
that.
but
Yeah,
anyways,
it goes to show you the media. I was hearing the talks this morning about the Dallas Cowboys. I'm hearing this. The, of course they don't have anything to talk about, but they don't talk football. They talk gossip. They talk drama. You have coaches who are sitting on that chair, and accolades to them. Yes, they were head coaches in the NFL. Yes, they did get their wins. Yes, some of those players who are now on TV did get their Super Bowl. Yes, they do know the environment, but they're not being realists with themselves. Had they been realists, they probably would be in coaching still.
I agree. Well, first off, and move. I was listening or listening to somebody talk about the crew that's even calling College Game Day. You want to talk about a group of nobodies? They said a group of nobodies that are like Chris Sims and.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to get on? You trying to get on? Yeah. All right. There we go. I just wanted to make sure. So.
Yeah. No. Chris Sims being there, and then everybody else is.
And everybody else is like Matt Leinart did something. I guess you got Reggie Bush, who's okay, but everybody else is like a nobody talking about like how these guys can and can't do anything. And
exactly.
it's kind of I'm stealing a lot of the guy's content because I talked to him this morning for a little bit, and just certain things that he was saying made a lot of sense to me. But so that's what tells me that the media announcing anybody as the next Tom Brady is ridiculous. You're right. This guy has no idea, like what it's going to be like to play in the playoffs. He's barely played against an NFL team. Seattle was okay, and he still had, they had more stuff. Short fields are a big deal.
Oh yeah, and it's just been that way again. They're making so much drama out of nothing. Of course, they're trying to get they're trying to get their audience sucked in. They're trying to be who they want to be, but it just doesn't make any sense. And I'll tell you, some of the worst guys are on Fox Sports when they're talking, and the way that they talk about teams and leagues. And you look at these guys, and these aren't even former athletes. That's what makes it hilarious. That these guys are just actual writers or whatever, beat writers or just reporters, and the way that they're talking about these personnel guys just makes no sense. It's like I get you where you want to be, but you'll never be there. So whatever about them. I don't know. I can't even watch.
But that all being said, hey, listen, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna puff this guy up to make him think that he's so much better than he really is. He ain't gonna be anything. You know what I mean? And he's gonna wind up losing in the first round because he's gonna actually have to go against real competition in a playoff atmosphere. And rookies don't typically do well in playoff atmospheres. So,
and it is the West. Yeah, it is the West, and they are going to get a home game. And I believe they clinched the West, so yeah, they'll get a home game. But let's see who you're going to go up against in the real time in the playoffs. So
they were the ones most hurt by the Colts not winning that game, by the Vikings losing, because they would have taken over that number 2 spot. Nobody's going to be able to catch the Eagles, but I mean, at least as long as we get one more win, which I think it happens. I think we get another win.
Yeah. The Giants in Washington, it's just going to be more interesting on their end to see how that they finish things. I know Daniel Jones, I saw the plays that he was doing last night, and I was like, he's running for his dear life. I don't understand that still. You got a great running back there. Get him the ball. Let him do all the running for you. Washington, I have no idea where they're at. I mean, I understand the passion that their team has and the fans have, but it's one of those things where you're seeing, one day they're great, the other day they're just can't keep it together.
Yeah,
and you got Ron Rivera. You got Ron Rivera right there, and I believe that's the weakest link right there for that team.
Ron Rivera.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, but I mean, that's everybody touts him as a good coach. I don't believe it, but
yeah, I don't either. Not after this year. Not after the decision making. It's okay. Well, and I know everybody's going to say, well, Mike McCarthy too, but you know what? Mike McCarthy has the wins. I know he's made some ridiculous decisions, and some decisions were never made, But the point is, he's back in the playoffs again. 2 years in a row. Hasn't been done in a while for us. So
what, 2 years in a row, back to back in the playoffs?
Yeah. It's been a while.
Wow, was that a pick? That's a pick? That was Aaron Rodgers not playing very well. That was a interception right there. Ugly one, too.
Oh,
But
I guess you're ahead of me because Aaron still has the ball on my side.
I probably am a little ahead of you. So pick six is about to go.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
pick
yeah.
six.
Yeah, I just saw it right now.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
on my
way
app.
off. Way off.
Yeah, I'm
So,
on my app. Yeah, he threw it over 10 yards.
that being said, next week. So we have the Thursday games, and then most of the games are on Saturday. And then, of course, we have the Sunday games, which I feel like nobody's going to watch. Nobody's going to care about any
Christmas?
of these Sunday games. Yeah.
I believe they'll care more about him than they will the NBA.
I think that our game has more chance on Christmas Eve, may have the chance to be the highest watched football game, regular season football game ever
Yeah.
on Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
Like,
42 million was us on Thanksgiving. So, yeah, we'll probably get a little bit more than that on Christmas Eve.
yeah, I would think so. It's that 4:00 game. It's the game of the week that, because the only other game that's happening right at that time, the Commanders and the 49ers are at 4:00. Everybody else is at 1:00 that day.
Nope.
And they do have an 8:00 game, which nobody cares about, the Steelers and the Raiders. So that game, everybody can go out and do their, Feast of the Seven Fishes and stuff like that, for Christmas Eve after the Eagles get done beating up on the Cowboys. So that being said, as of right now, as it stands, the Cowboys are a 6-point favorite. And I'm assuming that's
At
because
home.
Jalen Hurts is going to be he's questionable right now with the shoulder. But that's really what it is.
Huh.
We got
I think
Van
he's
Der
going to
Esch
want to
out.
play that game. Yeah, Van Der Esch, I would believe, is going to be out.
Yeah, I don't think he's
this
going to
might be
get
his
the
last
opportunity.
year. I think Van Der Esch's last year. I think with that, this is a scenario where it keeps in and keeps out. So
the duct tape is out anymore. They're out of duct tape.
and it's scary when it's your neck. It's scary when it's your neck. It's like you got to look at it, man. You got to take a long, hard look at it and say, "Hey, this is my career. Or this is my livelihood." But yeah, I got to move on from this. This is the fourth injury close to the neck. So yeah.
So what do you think comes from this game?
I think our offensive play calling is going to be different. I believe we're going to be running the ball a lot. I think it's going to be, if Jalen Hurts is going to be out, I think the Cowboys are going to want to make a statement, and be it that he's out is going to be, they're going to try and make an even bigger statement. But I don't think it's going to be as big of a game as people are going to make it out to be. I just don't. Especially with
now
that
that
injury.
Jalen Hurts is out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think everybody would watch the game, but and now although there is half the country right now that is interested in the Eagles failing, so it wouldn't surprise me to hear how everybody feels about oh, see, you pull him out, and is he really the MVP? That's what we're about to find out.
I can see that.
Is it the system or is it him?
Yeah,
because he had a bad game in Chicago. He had a bad game in Chicago. He threw the first couple of balls. He threw 2 picks.
Yeah, was it the weather that he was having a problem with?
Maybe. I he threw his 4th and his 5th interception, And I've heard everybody, like even like media pundits, say, "Oh well, he can't seem to hit his receivers." What? What? Amazes me. It amazes me. All of a sudden, he's like the worst quarterback ever, and blah. Blah. Are you kidding me? Are you
Well,
kidding
that's
me?
again, you got analysts who don't know how to throw a ball. Then you got guys who have never played football making these kind of calls on TV and radio. And don't get me wrong, it's for they're trying to score their points with their crowd, their audience, but it's neither here or there.
I tell you, and this is coming from a Philly hater. Frank Latirzo hates the Eagles, does not want the Eagles to win ever, and he's straight out saying that he's giving props to where props are due. So, and
Yeah, yeah,
that second pick was an ugly throw, and he did throw a couple of good balls. And again, like AJ Brown's got a little bit of the drops. AJ Brown is not as sure-handed as I would like him to be. I mean, he's had 3 or 4 drops, and he's got a little bit of fumbleitis when he's trying to pick up those extra yards. So he better
yeah.
learn to be able to put the knee down when he needs to put the knee down, because can't be fumbling the ball in the playoffs. Can't be giving the ball away. Those are things that can't happen. So,
No, I'm glad I saw this weekend listening to Fox Sports. What's his name? Who was the tight end? Greg Olson for the Tampa or for Carolina Panthers tight end. I'm glad he finally called out some receivers. He goes, what are these guys doing? You got to put your hands out. You can't let it hit your chest. You got to go after the ball. It gets so old watching these wide receivers get paid millions of dollars to let a ball come and hit them in the chest and miss it. And it's just like, well, what are you going to do? But yeah, the fumbling as well after the yards after catch is where it comes in, and they're trying to make something that wasn't there, and then they fumble the ball.
well,
So
especially now because there's a trend happening where you're keeping the player up, you're allowing him to move forward a little bit, and you're going after the ball. You're trying to strip the ball out in every which way possible. And
yeah,
they're not smart enough to get themselves down, because what's happening is they're actually being held up by the defensive players trying to
it's a
get the ball.
scrum. Yeah, it's a scrum. They're
So,
pushing forward while pulling. Yeah, no, and the NFL needs to do something about that as well. Sometimes they call the ball dead. Sometimes they let it go. You know,
well, like I said, that play for Indianapolis, that play that quarterback sneak that he made by a yard and a half. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like what is it that I don't understand? I don't understand sometimes.
well, that's again, it goes back to safety. Sometimes they want to protect the quarterback. Sometimes they don't. It just depends on where they're at, and that's what it's sheer stupidity on the officiating crews. And I will say that it's sheer stupidity. It just there's no reason for what they're doing. You can't have it both ways, and they want it both ways. They want the drama, they want the controversy. They think it's pulling in the numbers as far as viewership, but what it's doing is pissing off the fan base on all sides. And it's not a good look for the NFL. It's not.
Well, it's becoming more of you know we just let the play stand. They turnovers, touchdowns, like big plays always make a game. So the NFL's going to want that. They're going to keep continuing to make that happen for
Yeah,
as long as
and
they
here's
can.
another thing. Here's another thing I don't understand. The type of video and cameras that we have, how come we don't have more cameras set up in more multiple spots? I just don't understand that. When you can zoom in and it gets blurry. I just don't understand that. We have 4K, we have 8K now that can pixelate, 2 miles down the road, you can see a clear picture. But yet when somebody's catching a ball, we can't tell whether it hits the ground or not. You're on mute.
Yeah, we could tell. It just becomes a matter of, first off, they have that one camera over top of the
Overhead.
plate. And I tell you, that camera every time can be right over top when it goes for a goal line stance. There's no reason why it can't be. Right
Yeah.
over top. They can see exactly where that ball's at. Realistically, they could have two more that are doing that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, you could have one on either that just look down from like all the way up on high. You're right, because they can zoom in and have
Yep.
clear as day.
Yep.
And then like the back pylons. How come the back pylons don't have any
Exactly.
cameras?
Exactly. Looking down both ways. It's like, okay, you have it on the front, but not the back. And where an official's never sitting at. Remember when they had the camera set up on the goalpost? That camera would actually pick up more than what they took it off. They don't have that camera anymore.
Yeah, probably because they didn't want to show what's going on. Those cameras
Yeah.
would pick up more than they want to when they want to
Yeah, that's
show.
true too.
I mean, that's there comes a matter of that a little bit.
Yep.
So
I don't know. The officiating needs to be. There needs to be a serious owners meeting about the officiating. There needs to be a serious meeting about the camera, and there shouldn't be anything questionable in this game anymore. Nothing. Even catches are still being questioned to this day. That it's just nonsense. Is it a catch or not?
right, I've seen, I don't know, most of the time they get them right with the catches, but sometimes they're way off. You know what I mean? And again, like it's hard to determine like the fumbles, when's the ball out, when's the ball not out, and such like that. So
Yeah.
yes,
No.
there's got
Yesterday,
to be.
yeah,
Good.
we had a reception or a so-called reception. You can clearly see the ball hit the ground, but yet it was called a completion. And it was like, what are you looking at, refs? You can clearly see the ball hit the ground, and yet they want to say, well, the ruling on the field stands. No, it shouldn't stand. It should be overturned. Your
Was the
referee got
ball
it wrong.
moving though?
Yes.
That's really what. Yeah, if the ball's moving, then they made a big. That's.
Yeah, when he went down to cup it, he went down and the ball hit the ground and rolled back up into his arms. You can clearly see it.
So Pork Rind sent us a Christmas card saying, hugs for the holidays, and showed that. And I sent back a text message saying that sounds like a Roy Orbison song to me, crying, by Roy Orbison. That was the link I put in there, and so, but yes, he probably should have got it, but they said those flags were stitched in their pockets. They were stitched in their pockets. They didn't throw the flag very often at all. So,
yeah, and especially if that was the fourth quarter when that happened.
And since we only got about a minute left here, and I know you got to get going. So, what do you got as your score for our game?
Our game is going to be an offensive powerhouse. I think the Cowboys are going to take this one out. I think it's going to be 34-27. I think especially with your quarterback not, being questionable.
I'm not sure we'll score 27 points, actually. If Jalen Hurts is out, I think that we'll wind up only scoring about 21, 23, somewhere around there. However,
Yeah.
I think that our defense, right now, our defensive ends are coming on strong. So, and I know that you guys got one tackle that's out. That's, your one tackle's out. So you got a serviceable fill in, but it's just a fill in. And right now, Reddick and Sweat are killing it. And it's what's happening now because Indomitian Sue and Cox are taking those taking those guys. So the defensive line is now doing what it's supposed to do. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a defensive score or a short field score to help us out here. Um, if that it starts to happen that type of way, our defense wins this game. If our defense doesn't win this game, if it starts to become where you're scoring points at will, the 34 points, we're not going to get close. It
Yeah.
would be 34-21, probably 34-14, only because we'll start going for things that we would kick a field goal for and we won't get those points. So, and maybe not make it, because we have Gardner in there.
Yeah. I just see us rushing the ball. I actually see us rushing the ball. I think Kellen Moore is going to take the verbal abuse that he got this week and run the ball and limit our guy to 25 to 30 passes. But again, it's a little too late.
Right, I agree.
So,
But because you guys have clinched a playoff spot, correct?
yep.
Right. So you guys are in no matter what. So I
Yep.
mean, this game is not going to matter as much. I mean, because it's wishful thinking to think that you would. I guess you guys got to beat us by more points than we beat you guys because we hold every other tiebreaker.
Yep.
So you got to beat us in more points, I guess, because it comes down to the fact that we would split. The points coming up because common opponents. I think you guys losing.
Yep. The only thing we have is just no. It's just that one loss to you guys within the division. So
Right, but you have what? You have Washington to
we
go
have
yet
Washington
still.
left. Yep.
So and that's how you end the season. Because the Titans, I'm going to say is a win, anyways. That although they may really need that game at that point,
Yep.
like more than you guys do.
Yep.
Because if
That's
if
exactly
we have
right.
already won, then that would be the case. Real quick, so let's talk about very very quickly. Giants and the Vikings. Vikings are only a 3.5 point favorite at home.
In Minnesota. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the Vikings on that one.
Yeah, I tell you, that line tells me something. It tells me that the Vikings are frauds. They're 11 and
Well,
3 right now, and still have the option at the number 2. Uh,
well,
they lost to the 49ers.
Yeah, I could see where you're saying that they are frauds being what happened. Yeah, you're right reading that line. I just think the Vikings are going to do. I think they're going to have more. I almost sounded like Booger there for a minute. They're almost going to have more touchdowns than the Giants to win that game. But
Well,
I think
I
Kirk
think the
Cousins.
Giants, they've squeezed all they can out of this team.
Yeah, I think they have as well. I want them to win so that they can be in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. Just so we can have that
I would love
NFC
to. I'd love to be the first ever division to
division.
have all
Yeah.
4 teams in the playoffs. I think that would be amazing to do. So,
If at
um,
any time, this is the time.
right. It was 27-10 in the third quarter. That I just saw that. They're going to talk about that at halftime here in the next 9 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yep.
How you guys lost after
Yep.
being up 27-10 in the third quarter.
Yep.
Although it's not 33-7 with 8 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
Yeah.
That's different.
And again, you score 3 touchdowns within 9 minutes. You allow 3 touchdowns within 9 minutes. 2 touchdowns within 2.5 minutes. Doesn't hold very well. So
All right.
I'm just a fan.
Did you hear about anybody hitting a $3 million parlay on that Patriots game?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
I didn't hear about it either. I'm saying that's fugazi. I'm telling you. I talked to somebody from FanDuel yesterday.
Yeah.
There's no way that they got a $3 million parlay on that goofy play from the Raiders. No way. There's no way that was the cause of a $3 million parlay. I'm telling you, it's a fugazi thing. Somebody just bapping their lips.
I could see that too.
Yeah, that's really more likely. Somebody saying, "Hey, we did this," and then the Commanders are going up against the 49ers, who are also first in their division.
Well, I think Purdy, the quarterback, is going to play that second coming of Tom Brady. Can't even hold a straight face and say that.
Tell me
Uh,
about it.
I, I think Washington's going to go out there and try and physically hurt somebody, being as upset as they are this past game. But I think San Francisco and the head coach is going to try and prove something with this quarterback. So they're going to go out there and try and win this game. And I believe it'll probably be, somewhere in the realm of 28-13.
So the over, yeah, it's actually 39.5 is the over under, and -7. I think I think that the defensive line of Washington teaches Brock what welcome to the NFL. They actually do a welcome to the NFL day, and he gets hit 6 sacks, 7 sacks,
Wow.
and because they get to him in the first drive, I swear to God, I feel like that they get to him in the first drive. That's going to set the tone for the rest of the game. He's going to have happy feet. He
Yeah,
hasn't
I can
had a
see
chance
that.
to have that yet. He hasn't had a chance to do that yet, and that's going to happen. So I that's what I firmly believe, that he's going to have the happy feet, and he's going to be tiptoeing around, making sure that he doesn't
Yeah,
get hit.
yeah, you got to.
And Washington is an upset win. Washington is an upset.
All right. I can see that.
No, I heard Samuel is he'll be back for the last game of the season and the playoffs. So
Oh,
ultimately,
yeah, I thought he would be back for the playoffs
yeah, I heard he
if
wasn't
anything.
so bad. So I know that he was out, but he's not so bad.
Sprained MCL.
There you go. So, all right, guys. Well, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Like I said, yeah, last week it was a couple of us. Yeah, there was three of us. Now we have just the two of us. Everybody else was stuck working, and it's Christmas shopping and doing all that stuff. You know, again, everybody knows my son's birthday was yesterday. Uh, his son's birthday is today. So literally, it's like it's our kids' birthdays. But we know what's important. We know that you guys, the fans, are very important to us as well. They're not more important than our kids. Don't get us wrong. But yeah, because we had the birthday parties. Everybody, my kid got his new game. He was really excited about that. And my son said he wanted hunting lessons. He wants to actually learn. He wants to go to a shooting range and learn how to shoot a gun.
Nice. Nice. Bring him down to
So,
Texas. No better place.
hey, listen, it makes me sad because somebody offered me tickets to a game, and to the game, and I'm like, I can't fly us all down there. There's no way that I can make that all happen right now.
Yeah.
Um, it would be way ridiculously expensive. However, it's I was like, that it kind of caught me off guard. All right,
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's weird when he's 14 years old. So, but his grandfather was a farmer and had started teaching him some of that. So we would send him out there for the summer to get
Yep.
some ruggedness. You know what I mean? We live in a concrete suburbia. You know what I mean? You're not going to get that here. So,
Yep.
and now he's been living with his grandfather. His grandfather's living here now. So I think that that's rubbing off a little bit.
There you go.
So,
Nothing matter with that.
but anyways, so everybody, thank you very much for hanging with us. Enjoy the rest of your week. And like I said, we'll be able to replay this a couple of times this week, so you can watch it again if you'd like. Everybody, have a Merry Christmas, and we will see you guys next week to talk about what happened with the Eagles and Cowboys. Talk to you guys then. Everybody, have a Merry Christmas. Take care.
Merry Christmas. How about